Okay, so here is your exponent reteach for this exponents test. Okay, so a circle has a radius of 6 times x to the 9th y to the 5th centimeters. The area of a circle can be found using a equals pi r squared. What is the area of the circle? So we talked about this as a warm-up. This question isn't about area, right? Because we don't necessarily care so much about that in algebra. The question is taking this radius and squaring it. So now you have exponents. So remember, this means 6x to the 9th y to the 5th times 6x to the 9th y to the 5th, because that's what the exponent means. Write it down that many times. So 6 times 6 is 36, so not A, not D. So now we just have to figure out what we do with these exponents. So if I look on my chart, I see that when I am multiplying the same bases together, like x to the 9th times x to the 9th, and y to the 5th times y to the 5th, I actually add the exponents. So that's 18, and that's 10. That's a y. Clearly. There. Okay, so that makes our answer number B, or number B, letter B. Okay, that's all you have to do. Okay, number 2, the area of a rectangle is 54 x to the 9th y to the 8th square yards. The length is, well, I can't read it, I wrote over it. Uh-oh, hang on. Oh, it's stuck there. Oh my goodness, let me find a test. The length is, hang on. Okay, sorry, I don't remember where I was at. Someone was at the door. So I think I was here. The length of the rectangle is 6x to the 3rd y to the 4th yards. And so we have to find the width. So there are 2 ways you can look at this. So if I have a rectangle, like so, and I know what the area is, let's just say 54, because I don't want to write everything down. And I know one side is 6, well then I know the other side is 54 divided by 6, since length times width is a rectangle, so it has to be 9. Oh, well, cool. I can get rid of G and J. All right, now I just have to figure out the exponent. So you could divide them, but if you don't like division, you don't know the rule, or you're a little bit confused about what goes in the numerator, what goes in the denominator, you could always work this backwards and multiply. So I could say, well, 6x to the third y to the 4th, if I multiply that by, say, answer choice A, 9x to the 3rd y to the 2nd, do I get that? Well, 6 times 9 is 54. X to the 3rd times x to the 3rd, I multiply them like I did up here, so that means I add the exponents, x to the 6th. Nope. And then y to the 4th times y to the 2nd, I add the exponents, I get y to the 6th. Oh, no. How does that work? Oh, it would be probably good if I wrote the problem down correctly. Sorry. Got to write the second answer choice down, which is x. Oh my goodness. Okay, so pause. I forgot the strategy I was using. Okay, so I'm checking to see if this, which I know to be true, now I have to check the other answer choice. I'm so sorry. 9x to the 6th, y to the 4th, to see if I get this. So 6 times 9 is 54. X to the 3rd times x to the 6th. I add the exponents. X to the 9th. Y to the 4th times y to the 4th. I add the exponents. Y to the 8th. And look, that's exactly what it is. Okay. The other way you can do this is with the division. Oh, so sorry. Let me move this out of the way. With this division, so I know that the area of my rectangle is 54, x to the 9th, y to the 8th. If I divide that by the side length that I know, which is 6, x to the 3rd, y to the 4th, then I do 54 divided by 6, which is 9, just like integers worked your whole life. And now I look at my exponent rules. When I'm dividing, I subtract my exponents. So 9 minus 3 is 6. 8 minus 4 is 4. And so that's the other way I can verify my answer. Okay? All right, so number 3. This one I thought would be really simple, and I think maybe people got messed up with the parentheses. So you know the parentheses mean I'm going to multiply these two together. So x to the third times x to the negative 17. So I add my exponents together. 3 plus negative 17 is negative 14. And yes, you do have to bubble in the negative sign. And then it doesn't matter where you put the 14. You could put it here, or you could put it all the way over here. Because you have to fill in your decimal points on the algebra test, if there are any. So it doesn't matter where you bubble in your 14. Okay, but you do have to make sure you get that negative sign in there. Okay, so which expression is equivalent to 144 k squared r to the 14th, the whole thing taken to the 1/2, okay, for all positive values of k and r. So we talked about this since on the test the 1/2 didn't come out too well. So we did talk about distributing our exponents, k squared to the 1/2, using parentheses because I have a power to a power, so that keeps me, if I just write it down, I might forget what's going on there to the 1/2 if I don't use parentheses. So I put that in my calculator and I get 12, because really the 1/2 means square root. 1/2 as an exponent means take the square root. Okay, and we didn't talk too much about that. It doesn't really come up that much in Algebra 1. We can use our calculator, so I know those two are wrong. So I just have to do my exponents. So I look on my chart and I see power to a power. I multiply the exponents. Well, 2 times 1/2 is 1, and 14 times 1/2 is 7, which makes F the correct answer. Okay, number 5. Okay, the first thing I'm going to do in number 5 is do that division. 45 divided by 15 is 3, not 30, so those are out. Now I just have to figure out what's going on with my exponents. So again, you have 2 options. Okay, so 45 divided by 15 is 3, not 30. So then we have to take care of our exponents. So again, can't see what was written there. So we have m to the negative 6, p to the 2, v to the 12, over m to the negative 2, p to the 8, v to the negative 4. Now, it's division, so you could subtract your exponents, but then you have to remember to do negative 6 minus negative 2. So that's one option. I tend to go through and take care of all my negative exponents first. So this is what I would do, and then we'll do it the other way as well. I would say, well, m is negative 6, so that goes to the denominator. P has a positive 2, so that stays. V is a positive 12, that stays. M has a negative 2, so that comes to the numerator. P has a positive 8, so that stays. And V has a negative 4, so that comes to the numerator. Okay, so now I have to use division rules, but I'm just going to see if I could maybe... Yeah, so I know that this is going to give me v to the 16. So that's enough to pick the right answer choice because I add those exponents. Okay, so let's look at our division rule. It says to subtract. So 2 minus 6 is negative 4, and 2 minus 8 is negative 6, and 12 plus 4 is 16. Those are negative, these, so they're going to end up in the denominator, m to the 4th, p to the 6th. Okay, and that would give us the answer choice of B. Okay, the other thing you do is, if you subtract these, so you have m to the negative 6 minus negative 2, which is negative 6 plus 2, which gives you m to the negative 4. So you could do it that way as well. Okay, and then 2 minus 8 is -6, and 12 minus -14 is +16. And then you do what I just did over here. You know, these two, again, are negative, so they end up in the denominator. Okay, all right, number 6. Okay, so this is going to be power to a power and our quotient rule. So, I need to make it bigger, I can't see these numbers. Oh, 4 and -3. So that says that I multiply those together. So q to the -12 over q to the -15. Well, this is negative, so it goes underneath. That's negative, so it comes, this one's negative, so it comes up here. 15 minus 12 is q to the third. So it's h. With these, if you only have one variable, what you could do is say, okay, maybe I'll make q equal 3. And then I will put in my calculator 3 to the 4th to the -3 divided by 3 to the -15. See what I get, and then do 3 to the 3rd here and see if it matches. So you could do that if you have one variable. If you have more than one variable, it's not impossible, it just takes a little longer. Okay, number 7. So we need to figure out what the exponent's going to be. So I have x to the 22nd times, those are multiplied, x to the 21st. So I end up adding the exponents, x to the 43rd. Okay, and again, it doesn't matter where you put the 43. And you don't have to bubble in the plus sign here. Okay, so number 8. Which expression is equivalent to xy to the -6, and the whole thing is taken to the second power? So we're going to split up that, distribute the 2, because what that means is xy to the -6 times xy to the -6. So that's x times x, which is x squared. Y to the -6 times y to the -6 is y to the -12. And yes, normally this -12 would go to the denominator, but look, they left it unsimplified over here. Okay, because it did just say which expression is equivalent. Okay, wouldn't be simplified, but that's okay. If we were going to simplify it, that y to the -12 would go to the denominator. Okay, number 9. Which expression is equivalent to those two fractions multiplied together? So the first thing I'm going to do is look at my integers. So I have 10 times 4 in the numerator times q to the 5 times w to the 7th, and then I multiply those exponents together, times q to the, now I can't see what numbers those were, to the 12th. And in the denominator, I have 2 times w to the 3rd times w to the -5. So if I just look at this part here, 10 times 4 divided by 2 is 20. So it can't be A, can't be C. So now let's look at our exponents. So q to the 5th, q to the 12th, multiply them together, and I'm going to get q to the 17th. And then I have w to the 7th, and out here I have a 20. In the denominator, I'm going to add those together. 3, w to the 3rd times w to the -5th is w to the 3 plus -5, which is -2. So that's negative, so that's going to flip it to the numerator, w squared, and 7 plus 2 is 9. So that is our correct answer. Because now that that's in the numerator, I'm multiplying the w's together, so I'm adding the exponents. Okay, and number 10, which expression is equivalent to 14, a to the 4th, b to the 6th, c to the -10, a to the, over 8, a to the -2, b to the 3, c to the -5. Okay, so I'm going to start writing down my problem. And if it's positive, I'm leaving it where it is. But that c is negative, so I'm putting that in the denominator. Then I go to the denominator, that's positive, it stays. A to the negative 2 comes up. B to the third stays. C to the negative 5 comes up. Okay, so 14 divided by 8. I know it doesn't go evenly, but we can simplify it. We get 7/4. So that crosses out G anyway. Okay, a to the 4th times a to the squared is a to the 6th, because I add them. So I have 7/4 a to the 6th. So it looks like it's going to be this one, but let's keep going. These, I subtract the exponent since I'm dividing. So b to the 6th divided by b to the 3rd is b to the 6 minus 3, which is 3. And then again, these I subtract because I'm dividing. Why is that? That's a +5. Sorry, I didn't change the sign when I flipped it up there. So 5 minus 10 is -5, which is going to send that to the denominator. So my final answer is going to be 7. A to the 6th, b to the 3rd stays. It's positive. 4 stays in the denominator because that's a positive exponent. And c to the -5 goes down. And yes, H is the answer. Okay, so finish up your corrections. Make sure what you know what you did wrong, and then check the tutoring schedule so you can come in for a reteach.